Good morning, everyone. Today we are on the fourth day of the workshop conducted by the Department of Civil Engineering in association with VVIT ICA chapter. So first of all, I thank our management team, Ms. Kala ma'am, Dr. Arun Korat sir, and Dr. Sangeeta ma'am. So today's session is about the topic quality management system, and our speaker is respected Parvati Unni ma'am. She is a graduate in civil engineering working in senior core resource group. She has a 7 years of experience and worked as a project engineer with Kitco and leading builder like Confident Group and as a quality controller at Schwarz Homes, etc. And so I humbly welcome Parvati Unni ma'am to handle the session and to moreover the participants and the teachers. And I am sure that this session will be informative and to each one of us. So I am now handing this over to Parvati ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hi everybody. So welcome to today's webinar on quality management system. And thank you for taking out your time and being here. So today we will be discussing on the topic quality management system. Okay. Quality management system is a simple topic, that is, it sounds a little complicated because it's a vast topic. But if we are telling it in simple terms, it's a very simple topic and it's a highly beneficial topic. So today in this webinar, we are going to see So today we are going to discuss mainly three topics, that is, what is quality management system, why we want a quality management system, and the third one is how quality management system can be implemented. Okay, so first let's see what is quality management. QMS is a collection of business processes focused on consistently meeting customer requirements and enhancing their satisfaction. That means it's a collection of business processes and that is focused on meeting customer satisfaction, because for every business, customer is the king. So once the customer is satisfied, automatically the stakeholders also will be satisfied and the business will keep growing. So QMS is a quality management system. Okay. In terms of its usage, we can also say it as like it's a management system with quality. So you can understand that when you have a management system with quality, every department will deliver a quality output. Okay. So that is the main principle behind quality management system. Okay. So now let's see what is the layout of QMS. So layout, or we can also call it as the framework. Okay, that is, in technical terms, we can call it as a PDCA cycle. That is, plan, do, check, and act. That is, before doing anything, first, okay, let it be anything. It's a very normal principle to follow in all the activities we do. Yeah, that is, we have to plan the things properly. Then we have to implement it. Hello, is there any problem? Can you hear me? Okay, I hope it's clear. So I am continuing with the topic. Okay, so first is, okay, in technical term, it is plan, do, check, and act. Okay, but in simple terms, we can say it as like, say what we do what we say, record what we did, check the results, and act on the results. This, first you have to understand or identify what are your goals. If it's an organization or an industry, we should understand why we are running this organization or what is the purpose of this industry. Okay, or else let's take it in terms of a project management. So what is the main aim or goal behind doing it? Generally, it is like, okay, when we are project, it's like or the output should be of high quality. It should be delivered on time. Then there should be very less mistakes, and safety also should be assured, as well as within the budget the project should be complete. Okay, so that is what we want to do by this project management, right? Okay, so we have to understand or identify what are the purposes or what are the goals of running this organization, industry, or in terms of a project. Okay. So the next thing is do what we say. So whatever we are our goals, we are identified or we have understood what are our goals or what is the purpose behind doing this industry or doing this project. Now, in order to accomplish our objectives or our goals, we have to plan properly how to implement all these things. Okay, so that is the first section, that is planning. Once more, we have to identify the goal or the purpose behind running this industry, organization, or let it be a project. And then you have to plan accordingly. So in order to achieve our purpose or goal, how we should do things. Okay, that is basically what is called planning. Then the next thing is do what we say. Whatever we have planned, we have to bring it to action. Okay, that is the next step. And the next third one is record what we do. See, documentation and document control is a very important aspect of any kind of management. Okay, because there should be proof of what we have done. So it's very important to record whatever you do. Okay, that is the third step. And then the fourth step is check the results. So initially when we have planned, we have identified our goals or purposes and we have planned how to do that. Then we have did it, means we have completed doing it, and then we have also recorded or documented what we have done. Now what you have to do is you have to cross check the results. That is what is planned and what is achieved. Is there any difference among them? Okay, that should be checked. And if there is a difference, you should act on the difference. For example, okay, let's take an example. Okay, my project goal, okay, is to complete within the time period. And you imagine that I have difference of like I completed my project within yes. Okay, I hope it's clear. So I am continuing. Okay. So let's take my main purpose behind this project is to complete the project with the high quality within the budget as well as within the time. And I have received a very good output, means my quality of the building is very good. I have completed within the budget, but the third thing, I was not able to complete within the time period. For example, I was committed to deliver the project in January 2020, but there was a delay of 3 months. Okay, and I have completed or handed over the project by March or April. Okay, so that is I have not achieved my purpose or goal in that project. So that is the difference between what is planned and what is done. Okay, so now you should act on the difference. It's not simply just identifying the difference or the defect. You should act on the difference. That is, you should understand why this delay happened. You should find out the reason behind it and you have to correct it. Okay, we will come in detail in all these topics. So this is the general layout of QMS. That is plan, do, check and act. And this should keep on continuing. This is a cycle program. It shouldn't stop in between because continual improvement is very important. Okay, so this is a basic layout of QMS and I hope it's clear. Okay, I will explain it once more. That is, it's a very simple layout. That is, say what we do what we say, record what we did, check the results and act on the difference. That is, you have to understand or identify what are your companies or organizations or your project goals, and you have to plan accordingly so that you will finally achieve or accomplish the goals or the purpose you have planned. Next thing is do whatever you have said or do or implement whatever you have planned. And the third one is record or document whatever you do. And then check for the result, what is planned and what is done. And check whether is there any difference or deviation. If there is a deviation or a difference found, act on the difference. Okay, so this is the very general or basic layout of QMS. We will see in detail in the next slide.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Can everyone hear? Is there any problem in the audio? Can you please write in the chat box? Audio is not clear. No
So till there
problem.
is a problem with audio.
No, audio is clear, ma'am, but there is an echo or something in the background that is reflecting. Audio is clear, it is perfect, it is louder, it is clear, but there is an echo coming up.
Okay,
Is
ma'am.
there
I think
anything?
it's because of the AC problem. Okay, I will just shut down. Yeah.
I think it's clear. But chat box, everything is clear, I think. No problem is coming, ma'am.
Ma'am, now what about the echo?
It's okay, ma'am. Now I got a message now like that. That's why I asked you.
Okay, fine. So can I continue?
Hope it's okay. It's okay, ma'am. Chat box, everybody is saying it's okay. It's
okay.
clear
Okay.
but echoing. Okay, it's clear
I
but
hope now.
echoing. Please avoid phone from computer. Phone or something is there near computer, ma'am.
No, ma'am, nothing is there. See, if the air
Okay.
network also there may be kind of interruptions happening.
Okay, I hope everyone is clear now, right? Hope everything is clear now. Okay. So we are
Okay.
continuing. Okay, if you have anything, please mention in the chat box. If anyone faces any problem, please mention in the chat box. Also, I request everyone to be muted yourself. If anyone is unmuting yourself, it creates a problem for the whole participant. So please mute yourself while entering. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Continue.
Yeah. Okay. So I will continue. Okay. So next, what you're going to say is what is ISO? I think many of you have heard about ISO. At least in some ads nowadays, people are saying this is an ISO certified company, this is an ISO certified college, and nowadays, you know what? Even the governing system, that means the municipalities, panchayats, corporations, etc., even they are also going for ISO certification, and that too, majority of the companies are going for ISO 9001 certification. You might have heard this ISO 9001 certified company at least in some kinds of apps. Okay. So first, let's see what is ISO. Okay, many of them, and even in my early stages, I also thought ISO is Indian Standard Organization. No, it's International Organization for Standardizing. Once again, I am repeating, it's International Organization for Standardizing. Okay, so it has lots of standards, and the major standard among them is ISO 9001 standard. And you know what? ISO 9001 is an internationally recognized standard for quality management system. So when you hear a company is ISO certified, that too ISO 9001. Okay, earlier it was 9001 2008, and now it is 9001 2015, because always an year accompanies along with the standard. It's because that year will indicate what is the latest updation of that standard. Okay, so within 8 years, one updation is a compulsory as per ISO. So it was 9001 2008, and now with little amendments, it has been changed to ISO 9001 2008. Okay, so ISO 9001 standard is the standard for quality management system. And you know what? 1.1 million certificates have been issued to organizations in 178 countries all over the world. Okay, and that too, more than 10% is of construction industry. So from this itself, we can understand what is the importance of quality management system. Okay, it is the most widely used QMS standard in the world. It provides a framework and set of principles that ensure a common sense approach to the management of your organization to consistently satisfy customers and other stakeholders. Okay, so this is a document, or this is something like, okay, when we have when we are violating some rules, we have the rule book where we can understand what are the rules for so and so items. Similarly, ISO 9001 standard, that is a framework or set of principles that will ensure that the management has a quality management system. So everything, okay, how to implement a ISO, means how to implement what is QMS, how to implement it, all the details will be given in that, and each item will have a clause, like this is like a law. So if you want an ISO certification, you have to, okay, and there are there are certifying bodies. For example, you may be studying in a particular college, but your certification will be from the university. For example, a college will be certified by APG, means the university affiliated university will be APJ Abdul Kalam University, right? Similarly, ISO is a standards and international organization for standardizing, and the certificates are given or issued by certifying bodies. And one among the top certifying bodies among them is the Bureau Veritas. Okay, this is the world's topmost certifying body for ISO. And many of the organizations in Kerala as well as in India have the certification of Bureau Veritas. That means when they have an ISO 9001, 2008 or 2015 certification, that indicates that that particular organization has a quality management system. Okay, fine. So ISO 9001 standard is for QMS, and that is the reason why I mentioned ISO. Okay. Now to the next topic, that is, we understood what is QMS. Now we should understand why is QMS or quality management system required, or what are the importance or benefits of QMS. Okay, when we run an organization or when we run a project, as I have mentioned before, everybody's interest is to means have efficient manpower so that we will have very less mistakes happening. That means workmanship will be also good, to have quality products, or means within the budget, the project or whatever product or service you are giving to the customer should be within the budget as well as within the time. Okay, so when all these come together, automatically there will be higher customer satisfaction, and also that will result in increase in profitability of the company, and the market value as well as market share will be increased. Okay, so here we have written first one is low risk, that is maximum safety. We can avoid risk or we can reduce the mistakes. Okay, for example, let's take like you are purchasing an item from a supplier. Okay, generally a company without an QMS, how they will purchase is like they will understand what is the requirement. That means they will find what is the specification required. Okay, for example, let's take cement. Okay, so I am opting for a cement, OPC cement, 53 grade, and I want like 1000 bags. Okay, so next thing what I will do is I will find out the suppliers from where, maybe from net or from market inquiry or anything. I will find a list of suppliers. Okay, who is capable of giving this particular cement. Then what I will do is I will let the supplier know what are my requirements. Like I want 53 grade OPC cement of 1000 bags, and that too as a builder or as a contractor I may have recurring requirements. Okay, so they will be also very happy to get an order or send me a quotation. So the next thing is, after giving my specifications or my requirements, the suppliers will send me quotations. So what I will do is I will compare the quotations and I will find out the best one, and I will issue the purchase order. Okay, we never say we are just making an order. We always say technical term is that PO will be issued. PO means purchase order. Okay, so this is a general pattern. So what happened is there is a little bit of risk in that. That means we don't have further or previous experience with this supplier. So sometimes first time he may deliver it correctly, next time the delivery may be late, or maybe my product what I have received is less quality. For example, I have received 1000 bags, in that around 25 bags were damaged. So receiving 25 bags damaged, I have to return it. So okay, they will give or replace the 25 bags, but the thing is it's a time waste as well as money waste, because I have to send this 25 bags again, then I have to do the necessary corrections in the billings, etc. And then I have to receive the 25 bags again in my next order. So the PO it shouldn't be repeated again. Okay, there are a lot of issues happening in that. So that's merely a time waste. And always remember, especially in construction industry, time is equal to money. Once you are wasting the time, that indicates that you are wasting the money. Okay, so such things shouldn't happen. So in QMS, what we say is that first, okay, you can understand what are your requirements, you can find suppliers. Then what you should do is you should make a list of approved suppliers, and you should only purchase from list of approved suppliers. So okay, now you may have a doubt how to approve the supplier. Okay, this is a very simple system, that is you can make a format or something, but the content of the format is that you should understand about the supplier, like what is his financial capability, because I may have recurring orders or requirements, so he should be able to give it. And you know, builders, they purchase not by giving the ready cash, they are purchasing for credit. and some suppliers offer 45 days, even 80 days credit are offered. Okay, so in such cases, what happened is like after few deliveries, they won't be able to roll the amount. So what happened is the delivery will be delayed or stopped. So again, we have to find another supplier. All these things to be repeated, and so there is a delay. Once there is no material, especially a material like cement, then the work is stopped. Okay, that's a huge loss to the company. That's what we should understand. What is this financial capability? What is this infrastructure? Okay, that means you can visit his godown or office by seeing his godown as well as office. You can have an idea about his financial condition. You can do market inquiries. You can ask to people in the same industry, have you purchased from him? How was his service? How was his product? Was it timely, etc. Okay. And on the basis of your market inquiry as well as your site visit or the office visit as well as go down visit, you can okay, as well as from the quotation you will understand what is the best offer he is giving for this product. Okay, so accordingly you can either approve him or not approve him. If you are not approving, if you are approving or not approving, you should also write it down. What is the reason? Okay, sometimes you may be not approving because the price is higher. Sometimes you may be approving because, okay, you have visited the site, you have visited this go down, you have done the market inquiries. On the basis of all this, we are approving. Okay, why we are writing the reason even if it's not approved? It's because later on, imagine that the reason was for not approving was like there was a high, means he was offering a higher price than other suppliers. But maybe in the next year, he may offer less price. Okay. So in order to understand this, okay, we don't have to do all this again. So simply you can take this rejected list and find out what was the reason for not approving. Okay. So this is the pattern. Okay. So after doing this evaluation, you can either write it approved or not approved, and then you can make a list of approved list of suppliers. And when you make an approved list of suppliers, it should be different for each item. Like bulk materials, we have cement, we have aggregate, we have steel, etc. You can have a different list for each item. And there may be suppliers who do multiple products. You can have a separate list for this. Okay. So one another advantage is that if first person is okay, he may not have this number of stocks available. So what we can do is we can just find it out from the next list. We will have a list of minimum of 10 or something. So we don't have to waste time to find out the next person. We have send the specification, get the quotation, do the comparison, etc. No. We will have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, etc. So that is the initial work done. So final next after that, there is a problem like with the first supplier or the supplier we have issued the PO, we have with the very next person waiting to do to serve us. Okay. So that is a system implemented in a QMS while doing the purchase. So this is the difference. So by this, we can reduce the risk. That means most probably he will be, not most probably, 99% his products will be of good quality. He will do timely delivery. There won't be any financial issues, etc. Okay. And this is because we were issuing purchase order only from the approved list of suppliers. Okay. So that was an example to show that how this the risk is reduced. Okay. Then the next one is minimum operating cost. Okay. We will have a proper budgeting once we start a project or an organization or whatever. Okay. So it's very important to be within the budget. So how basically a budget is or means budget varies because either more number of mistakes or there is some kind of time delay or due to inefficiency. If the workmanship is poor, we have to redo the work. If the material quality is poor, we have to again redo the work. Okay, all this results in deviation from the budget. So if we have a proper planning and if we have a proper quality system, and if we have the proper QMS, means budget means quality system, all this comes under the QMS. So in general, if we have a quality management system, there won't be such issues because all the manpower will be efficient because their working will be clearly monitored, feedbacks will be taken, etc. So they know they're always in watch. So we can reduce the mistakes, we can reduce the time delay, and we can reduce the risk also. So thereby it will be always within the budget. Okay. So next thing is higher productivity, or we can say it as on-time delivery. Okay. So when we have efficient labors, when we have good quality products, means good quality materials and good quality workmanship, automatically we can deliver it on time. Okay, so when all these three are coming together, we will have a higher customer satisfaction. Okay, and thereby increasing profitability. So these are the benefits of quality management system. So if you have an efficient, I again repeat, quality management system or a management system with quality, the business will be going higher and higher. Okay, both the customers as well as the stakeholders will be happy and fully satisfied, and it will keep the business going higher. Okay, so this is why you have to have a quality management system. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, now we are going to the next part, that is elements of quality management system. That is, this is how, or this elements will help us to implement this quality management system. Okay. I am saying it again, quality management system is a simple topic, but it sounds a little complicated. But please be patient and hear it properly, so that it's a very simple topic and it's a highly beneficial management system. Okay, you can implement it either when you start an organization, or if you are an entrepreneur, or even if you are a project manager, or you manage some kind of projects, this will be really helpful. Okay, so let's see what are the elements of QMS, quality management system. Okay, first one is quality policy. Okay, let's see what is quality policy. Quality policy is a document developed by management to express the directive of the top management with respect to quality. Okay, in simple terms, we can say this is the goal or purpose of the organization. This is the reason why, or this is the main aim of this organization.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Slide is not moving, ma'am.
Oops.
It is still at benefits of QMS.
Oh, no, okay, wait, ma'am. Now is it okay?
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Now,
Yeah. So I hope now you can see elements of QMS.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I hope you have heard what I've said about elements of QMS. Okay. So the first element of QMS is quality policy. That is, a quality policy is a document developed by management to express the directive of the top management with respect to quality. Okay. In simple terms, this is the aim or goal of the organization. Okay. So this is a pattern like, first we are identifying what is the goal of the organization, and it should be defined in a simple terms, as well as it should include what are the goals. Okay, but financial goals are not included in this. Okay, main reason is that every organization or industry or a project is done for financial benefits, and we have the government system to monitor all those things. So financial goals are not included in that. Other than that, the aim or goal of the organization is stated in this quality policy. Okay, let's take an example. Okay, ABC is committed to provide quality work to our customers that meets the project standards and specifications for materials, workmanship, tolerances, schedules, and public sector while maintaining profitability and competitiveness. ABC is also committed in providing a safe and comfortable work environment for their staff. ABC ensures continual improvement through quality processes which are directed by a strong management team. But this is an example of a quality policy statement. That means you have to define what are the goals of this organization in general, and also it should be okay. Financial requirements are not, means it shouldn't give much importance. Okay, here they have simply mentioned while maintaining profitability and competitiveness. Also, they have also even mentioned what they are providing or how they care for their workers. Okay, so all that can be included in quality policy statement. It should be simple and all the general goals should be seen in this. And a policy statement should be presented in all over the organization, in every department, in project sites, and so this should be visible to all the employees as well as even the customers can see this, and as well as the laborers can also see. So they should, it's just a reminder or awareness, yes, that this is the goal of the organization, and even this will act as a marketing tool also. When a customer come and see this, okay, he will be also impressed. Okay, so quality policy statement is the goal of the organization, and it should be presented all over the organization, as displayed all over the organization as well as in project site. Okay, now the next element is quality objective. Okay, so this is like we have defined the goal of the organization. Now what we are going to do is we are going to give targets or objectives to each department under the organization. That is, all the departments are working to fulfill the goals of the organization. So in order to make it more clear and crystal, what we are going to do is we are going to give targets for each department. Okay, basically each department know what they have to do, but in order to make them more effective and more focused, we are giving them targets. Okay, so once each department achieve their targets or objectives, finally what happens is the goal or the quality or policy of the organization will be fulfilled. So that is the general pattern of this. Okay, so let's say quality objectives are measurable goals relevant to enhancing customer satisfaction and are consistent with the quality policy. But this is a subdivision, we can say like this is a subdivision of quality policy. That means we have decided or identified the goals of the organization. Now, in order to achieve or fulfill the goals of the organization, we are dividing these goals into small targets and assigning to each department. So once each department accomplish their goals, finally the organization goals will be fulfilled. Okay. So, but once you give a quality objective, you should make sure that one thing, it is measurable. Simply planning something and doing something is not enough. We have to check whether what is planned is equal to what is done. So for that purpose, once you give an objective or a target, it should be measurable. We should be able to cross-check, okay, is this clearly achieved? So for that purpose, once you define a quality objective, it should be measurable. And the next thing is, it should be practical. Okay, for example, for a customer care department or customer relations department, the main objective given is customer satisfaction, right? But imagine that I'm going to give nil customer complaints, because customer complaints is a result, means there are customer complaints that indicates that the customers are not fully satisfied. Okay, that is what it shows. But imagine I have something like 1,000 customers and saying that nil customer complaints. That is not practical, because even if I am giving a good quality product and good service, there will be some people having some kind of issues. Okay, because people are behaving differently, so we can't control always. So even we are giving complete things in a good manner, there may be some complaints. Okay, so saying that nil customer complaints is not a practical objective. So you can have a measure, okay, but the number of complaints can be restricted depending upon the volume of the customers. For example, I have 1,000 customers and I am saying that not more than 5 customer complaints in a year. That is not again practical, because my volume is 1,000. Okay, so I can make it like not more than 10 customer complaints in 3 months or 6 months. That is practical. So once you create or give quality objectives, it should be measurable as well as it should be practical. Okay. Now again, let's see some examples of quality objectives. Okay. First one is human resource and administration department. So there, here they have given the quality objective as ensure all staffs are aware of our organization proactive culture, department objective and procedures. Okay. Again, same as quality of the quality policy, quality objectives also should be displayed in the entire organization. That means it should be displayed with all the departments as well as project sites. Next objective is provide an average 2 hours of education and training per department annually. So all the departments should get at least 2 hours training annually. So that is very important. And once they do this training, what they have to do is they have to record it. So we can analyze once in a year if you want. We can analyze. Okay, this was the target given. How many or what was the time for the training? So if it's less than 2 hours, that means that you have not achieved your target. Okay, so like this. Okay, again we can see an example of purchasing department. To reduce quality problem, that is wrongly delivery, unable to deliver, late delivery, material damages, or prompt inquiry, to 5 cases per trade or month. That means not more than 5 complaints regarding suppliers or supplies of materials should be restricted to 5 cases or 5 numbers per month. Okay, so again that should be also recorded. And if it deviates 5, it's more than 5, that indicates that you have not achieved the quality objective. Okay, and this is the reason why we say the quality objective should be practical, because in QMS, okay, you can say what we do. That means you can decide what are your quality requirements, what are your requirements, or what are your standards. But once you clearly define these standards, there shouldn't be any kind of deviation. So this deviation, so in ISO how it is done is they will conduct audits. They will conduct internal audits and they will conduct external audits. Okay, maybe once in 6 months or maybe once in a year, maybe both. Okay, so in this audits they will analyze or they will cross check. Okay, what was the objective given, what was the target they have achieved. If there is a deviation, they will raise an NC. NC means non-conformity, because we have given a target that not more than 5 cases per month. So if that deviates, that indicates that this system is not working properly. So that is a deviation. So you should understand what are your requirements and then you should set it. After doing there is a deviation, you can't claim that, okay, this is not practical, I can't do it. So this should be done when you do the planning. Okay, once you plan it, you can plan accordingly to your requirements with a basic common sense. But once it is planned, the same thing should be done and the same target should be achieved. There shouldn't be any kind of deviations happen. Okay, so again in purchasing, again you can give more than one objectives to any department. It is not restricted like, okay, only one objective or target per department or two. No, any number of targets can be given to the each department, but the thing is it should be practical and it should be measurable. Okay, so the next second one is for purchasing is ensure all procurement of materials are competitive within the budget cost and acceptable quality. Okay, again we can see an example of the core department, that is our project department. Ensure timely completion of projects undertaken according to project master program. But again, in order to measure it properly, they are, because nil variation is not that practical, because okay, even in Kerala you might know there are a lot of hartals and all those happening, so there may be some uncontrolled delays. So nil is not that practical. Maximum you have to make it nil, but in order to make it safe, so that no NC is raised, they have given it like not more than 3 months deviation from the committed time of delivery, so that 3 months there is a buffer time, but you should complete it within that. Okay, that is how the objective given to the department. Or if you are that confident that you can complete it without any deviation, then you can give it nil deviation. But then there shouldn't be, make sure that there is no deviation from the committed time period of delivery. Okay, then again they have given minimize wastage of construction materials to 3%, concrete, steel, formwork and tiles, etc. That means material management is a very important topic that coming under QMS. So because wastage of materials equal to wastage of money, so that shouldn't happen, and they have limited to 3% of material wastage. Not more than 3% can be wasted, and that is the target given to project department. Okay, and again one more target to the project department, to reduce quality problem, that is repair work and remedial work. That means, and that too 5 cases per trade or per month. That means there shouldn't be any kind of rework or maintenance work or repair work happening, because that is because either it will be poor due to poor quality of material or it will be due to poor quality of workmanship. So that is not that shouldn't happen. So they have restricted to a particular number of cases, and this number can be decided by the organization depending upon the volume of the projects, etc., and they can decide. But again, remember, once it is decided, that is final, there shouldn't be any kind of changes happening. Okay. Yeah. Now the next element is organizational structure. So we have decided quality policy, we have decided quality objective. That means we have identified the purpose or aim of the organization. Then in order to achieve that, we have divided this aim to different targets to each department. Once these departments achieve their targets, automatically the entire organization's aim or policy or goal will be achieved. Okay. So the next thing for this, what we have to do is organization structure. Organization structure providing the guidance to all employees by laying out the official reporting relationships that govern the workflow of the company. So from this organization chart, you can clearly understand what are the posts that is available in this organization, or you can create and add the post into this organization. And it will also clearly explain or indicate what is the reporting relationship, official reporting system. Okay, and basically these are given charts like this so that it's very easy to understand. Okay, here I have given an example. Let's see. Okay, first comes the managing director and below him comes the general manager. So general manager, from this we can understand general manager is reporting to managing director. Then under the general manager we have DGM project, that means deputy general manager projects. We have contracts department, we have manager admin, and we have manager account. So this indicates that DGM project, contracts department manager and manager admin as well as manager accounts, they have the equal state of post in this organization. So nobody is higher than the other person. They are all reporting to the general manager. So this is clearly understood from this bar chart. But like this way, you have to clearly do the organization structure, or it is also called as hierarchy chart. So it's very easy to add or remove any post, and we will understand what are the posts, how is the reporting done. So there won't be any kind of ego clashes, etc. Some people, when these organization structures are not clear, for example, in some sites generally this happens, that is, we will have a senior engineer who is a diploma holder. We may have a junior engineer who is a BTech holder. So generally he knows he is reporting to them. Even there may be some ego clashes, like I am a BTech person, he is a diploma person. Nothing matters. This organization clearly show you what is the reporting relationship, and you should never ever challenge this protocol. That means one thing is you have to obey whatever your reporting officer says, and you have to do whatever he asks you to do. And the next thing, he is also responsible for you. For example, if you want and imagine that every year you are getting an increment in your salary. Okay, minimum increment will be there for everybody as per the company rules. But you just received a less amount as you expected. So it is not like you are directly calling to the HR manager and stating that, okay, I have worked very nicely, I was doing a lot of work and I have received a very less amount as increment. No, nothing doing that. You should report to your reporting officer, and he should only report to the next person. So you should never ever challenge the protocol. Okay, even there may be certain conditions. For example, at site, imagine that, okay, every site has a material lift, and that is a temporary setup. But you should ensure its safety. But imagine that this the material lift has collapsed and there has been some injuries or something and some damages happen. You are a site engineer, so you are calling your project engineer. He is not available. So that doesn't mean that I am not going to challenge the protocol, so I will keep mum. No, you are in that such situations you can call the next person. Again, remember, not directly you are calling to the GM. You will be calling to the next person. Most probably that will be the project manager, and informing, sir, he is not available. I tried to call him, so this is have happened at site. So remember, organization structure clearly shows the reporting structure as well as who is responsible for it. And see, in this case, The general manager's performance will be calculated as per the performance of this DGM, contract department manager, manager admin, and manager. Their performance indicates the talent of general manager. Okay. And again, he is responsible for DGM project, contract department manager, manager admin, and manager. So you should also clearly create the organization chart, organization structure, or it is also called as hierarchy chart. So that should be also done. Yes. Next element of quality management system is quality plan. So this is the important section of QMS because this matters to the core department. Okay. So in concern with the civil engineers, our core department is the execution team or the construction team. Okay, because they are executing or they are producing the product that is given to the customer. Okay, so quality plan, this is mainly related to quality policy, quality assurance as well as quality control. And quality of product is of prior importance, and that is the reason why every organization, even though there are not every organization, most of the organizations, okay, there is no statutory rule stating that every organization or every construction industry. Hello, is it clear? Any problem?
No problem, ma'am. It's okay.
Okay. So there is no statutory rule stating that every organization or every construction industry should have a quality controller or a quality assurance engineer or altogether QA/QC engineer. But still, majority of the companies have this post. The reason behind that is that the quality of the product given to the customer is of more importance. When you have an efficient QA/QC engineer or QA inspector or quality inspector or anything, the company will have both. Means they will have financial benefit because everything will be managed properly. So as I said in the introduction, quality management system can be implemented in two ways. One is either in the entire organization, nor for the core department. So if quality management is only applied to the core department, from here we are going to apply the quality management. But still you have to do the other things what we have mentioned. That means you have to understand and clearly state what is the quality policy of this particular project, and you have to give objectives to the departments or sub departments coming under the projects department. Okay, for example, under the projects department we will have site engineers, engineer section, store department, MEP section, etc. So all of them will be given objectives that are measurable and practical. Okay, so all that should be done. And the organization structure, that means the hierarchy chart should be done. That means first comes the project manager or DGM project, then comes the project manager, then comes the project engineer, under him comes the engineer, then comes the junior engineer, then comes the trainee engineer, etc. So that should be also clearly mentioned in the organization structure. So in that case, you don't have to include all other posts that are coming under the organization. But again, remember, it's always highly beneficial to implement quality management system for the entire organization, and that is why we have this much of companies or organizations with ISO 9001 standard certification. Okay, so a quality plan is a document or several documents that together specify quality standards, practices, resources, specifications, and the sequence of activities relevant to a particular product or service, project or contract. And quality plan should also define a method for measuring the achievement of quality objectives. Okay. In another terms, I can define quality plan as identifying or deciding the quality requirements and showing the ways to achieve. So in the beginning, we have said that the layout of QMS is plan, do, check, and act. So here we are going to start the planning of the core department. Okay. So first we have to, for that, first we have to understand or identify what are your quality requirements. And why do we say either decide or you can choose? It's because some companies say that everything should be done by IS standards. Not only IS standards, even some follow, for some cases they follow ASTM standards. Okay. So in that case, what they can do is already there will be standards available. From that, you can identify what are required for your organization or what are required for this particular project, and you can document it clearly. So you can understand, okay, this is the standard we have to follow, this is the requirement, or this is the specification we have to accomplish. Okay, or else what you can do is you yourself can make a standard or requirement. But again, statutory rules should be included in that, because like I am saying, okay, you do the concreting, don't go for any Q testing or something. No, it is not like that. But it is not said like you should follow the procedures in IS 456 for doing concreting. No. But including the statutory rules and regulations, you can make your own standards or specifications. Okay, and that should be achieved. So that is why we say identifying or deciding the quality requirements. Okay, that is basically quality plan, and also that is only not required. Okay, see, I have given the aim of the organization. We have given targets to different departments, and I am going to say, okay, these are your targets. I don't know how somehow you reach that or somehow you achieve this. No, that is not a practical method to do. What you have to do is you have to show the ways to achieve it. You have to clearly mention you do in this particular manner so you can achieve this target. That is the correct way of doing something. Okay, so that is what QMS focuses on. So a quality plan is identifying or deciding the quality requirements and showing the ways to achieve. This is implemented by quality assurance engineer and quality control. Okay, so the quality assurance engineer along with the core department members like engineers, project managers, etc., they will discuss and either they will make a standard or they will identify what are the required standards, and they will clearly make the other employees understand these are the requirements you have to finally get it. Okay, these are the standards you have to follow. Okay, then the next thing is, if you want to achieve the standard, this is how you have to do things. So they will even show you or they will even tell you what is the sequential order of doing each item. Okay, so a quality plan is something, means it's a document or several documents that defines all the standards, as well as they will also show you the sequential activities, means the sequence of activities to be done. So generally that is basically quality planning, and quality assurance engineer is the major one who does all this quality planning. And he will also discuss, he will come to a conclusion after the discussion with engineers as well as the quality team. Okay, so now let's see in detail. Okay, so we have planned what is to be, means what are our requirements or standards and how to do this. Okay, now accordingly we are going to assign duties and responsibility. It should be clearly mentioned for each post. So from our organization chart or hierarchy chart, we can understand. Okay, again slides are not visible. Okay, I think that may be a technical error with one particular person. So since others can view the slide, I am continuing. Okay, so our next item to be done is write down the duties and responsibilities. So all the posts that are coming under the organization chart should come under this duties and responsibilities. Each post duties and responsibility should be clearly mentioned. Okay, so here we have an example of duties and responsibilities of a project manager. Let's see. So first one is collaborate with engineers, architects, etc. to determine the specifications of the project. Okay, this is what I say. We will have a discussion and we will determine what are the specifications or standards. Then negotiate contracts with external vendors to reach profitable agreement. We will look after what is the rate given to the contractors. Is it beneficial? Will it be within the budget, etc. Okay, then comes obtain permits and licenses from appropriate authorities. Okay. In some companies, they will have an operations or licensing department where they will go under all these things. But here they have given this duty to the project manager. That is okay, it depends upon the organization. But you should clearly mention what are the duties and responsibilities for project manager without, means all the things should be included in this. Okay, then let's see the next thing. Determine needed resources, manpower, equipments and materials from start to finish with the attention to budgetary limitations. So there may be engineers who does all these things. So he will be monitoring with the engineers, is everything going good? Is there any shortage of manpower, equipment or materials? Or is there any problem regarding all these things? If anything is found, he will take care of it and he will always keep monitoring this. Then his next duty is to plan all construction operations and schedule intermediate phase to ensure deadlines will be met. Okay. So his duty is to plan the construction operations. For example, before we start a project, we will have a detailed scheduling. Okay. So nowadays we have softwares like Primavera where you can schedule the entire project using this software. Okay. So we will have a detailed schedule. That is when a work is going to start. Means from the start till the end, all the works will be included in there. And for each individual work, it will be given start date and the end date. And what we should do in site is we should ensure that we are going with the schedule. And also, once you complete each item, you should mark what is the actual date of completion. So from that you can understand, is there any variation, or are we going along with the schedule, or we are running behind the schedule, etc. So if anything is found like that, what we can do is before the next target, we should somehow we have to come up with the schedule. That means you can either add extra labors, or you can start night shift, etc. But somehow this next target, once they are achieving the next target, you should correct this schedule and come to the go with the schedule. Okay, so that should be done. And even we have already did the scheduling like from start till the end. That doesn't mean that my responsibility is over now. What you will do is this schedule will be breakdown into small targets. So monthly targets will be given to the project manager. Here it's project manager. So monthly targets will be given to the project engineers. What they will do, they will divide it into 4-week targets, and weekly target will be given to the contractors. Okay, and what contractors do, they will give daily targets to the laborers. And what we will do is we will clearly monitor this. That is, we will conduct weekly meeting at sites along with the contractors, and we will discuss, okay, this was the target given, what you have achieved. Is it okay? Is there any deviation from the target given or the schedule? If there is a deviation, before the next week target is achieved, you should clear the deviation, or the delay should be made up. Okay. So what the project manager does, he will conduct monthly review meeting. That means he will call all the engineers of the site along with the contractors. Sometimes contractors may not be there. He will conduct the meeting and ask, okay, this was the monthly target given. What is the current status? Is there any deviation? And if there is a deviation, what is the reason for deviation? That should also find out. Okay. Maybe there is a shortage of labor. Contractor is not supplying sufficient labor. So he will say the engineers, or he will say directly talk to the contractor stating that I want more number of laborers. I don't want to work to be running behind the schedule. I don't know how. Somehow by the next week this should be overcome. Okay. So like that way he will be clearly monitoring that. Okay. Then let's see. Next one is plan all construction operations and schedule intermediate phase to ensure deadlines will be met. Yeah, that is what we discussed. And then acquire equipment and material and monitor stocks to timely handle inadequacies. Yes, I said material management is of great importance. Okay, once the material is wasted, the time is wasted, and also the money is wasted. Okay, so we should clearly have he should clearly have a control over the materials. And materials, for material management, we will have a store department. So where they will clearly have documents stating, basically the main document coming under store department is stock register. So it will clearly have what are the materials available at store and what is the balance quantity. And a stock register should always have an opening balance as well as closing balance. And he should be clearly knowing, okay, what is the correct quantity of materials available inside. That means also remember, physical stock and the register stock should be tallied. For example, in my stock register, I have 5 number of 5 number of door handles. But currently at site, I have only 4 numbers. So that shouldn't be allowed. There is 1 number deviation. So I should find out where this have gone. Okay. So clearly they should always have a hold on materials. They should clearly understand what is the current stock and physical stock as well as register stock should tally. And also they should be given training for how the inspections to be done, etc. Okay, so that all things will be mentioned in quality planning, where they will have a clear inspection and test plan. So maybe store people will be asked to do weekly, you should take the stock and you should check whether it is tallying with the physical stock, etc. Okay, so all that thing should be clearly here, it all should be controlled, and you should be aware of the stock details and all such things. That means the project manager. Okay, and also one more thing, the storekeeper should also be aware of like what is the stock, and if the stock is going to be over or completed before the stock is finished, he should inform the current or each project may have a different engineer, so he should inform the responsible engineer, and he should go for a material intent, that means material request, because if the stock is completed, then you have to wait for the next stock to arrive. So there is a time delay, so the work will be delayed. And when there is a time delay, it's a money waste. So that shouldn't happen, and that should be also taken care by the store people, and the project manager should ensure that is the store people aware and are they doing everything correctly. Okay. So the next thing is hire contractors and other staff and allocate responsibilities. So he can, before the contracts or work orders are issued, the project manager can ensure that okay, these are all under our standards. Or like for example, some companies says that a project should be means a work order should be issued to only contractors with registration. That means that contracting firm should be registered. Some people say that okay, for some government works, what they do is a person is allowed to give the tender only if he has done a work of 5 crores, etc. So there are certain conditions. Okay, so like that way he can cross check what are the conditions and then allocate work orders to contractors, as well as if there is a requirement of staff, that should be also done. Okay, then the next one is supervise the work of laborers, mechanic, and given them guidance whenever needed. Okay, we will have laborers and contractors will take care of the laborers, contractors will be taken care of the engineers. In that also we have junior engineer, senior engineer, project engineer, etc., and all of them will be taken by the project manager. So this is reviewed and monitored by a group of people, so we can make sure that there is no issues happening, there is no delays happening. Okay, so the next one is evaluate progress and prepare detailed report. Yes, not only cross checking, even that should be recorded. So that is what we say, we have to keep reports. So once a monthly meeting is done, he will review all the things, like he will discuss with the project team, what about the project, is it going smoothly, is there any time delay, are you receiving materials correctly. Okay, then he may discuss with the store people, is everything okay, is there a shortage of any material, is the physical stock and the stock register okay, means tallied, etc., and he will make the reports. And even some companies, project manager also reviews the safety. That means there will be a safety officer, and the safety officer will be reporting to the project manager. So he may also ask, okay, is there any kind of accidents or incidents happened in the site? If yes, what was the reason, etc. Okay, so all that will be discussed, and he will be monitoring whatever targets or responsibilities are given, and then he will make a report also. Okay, then the last one is ensure adherence to all health and safety standards and report issue. Yeah, here also that is given, so he is responsible for that also. And understand that duties and responsibilities are decided by the organization. Okay, they can write it according to their needs and requirements. Some project managers may not have all this, like I have said an example of permits. Okay, so according to your organization, you have to write down the duties and responsibilities. Okay, it should be clearly mentioned. And you know what, in QMS it is said that once this organization chart is prepared, duties and responsibilities are prepared, a copy of this should be given to each staff. Okay, why is that? Because imagine that the general pattern followed in every company is once a person is joining a company, that means when we have a new employee, the general pattern is HR will take care of the initial steps like signing the work order or agreements, offer letter, etc. Then he will be explaining the general terms like what are the rules of the organization, how you can take a leave, what are the holidays, how is your PF, PSA, etc. Okay, all such things will be explained by the HR. Then what he does is he will take him to all the departments, and he will introduce, and then finally he will be handed over to the head of the core department where he belongs. Okay, for example, so let's see, he's a person from so the post is customer care executive. So he will be handed over to the customer care HOD, where he will be saying, HR will be saying the employee that, okay, all the details, he is your reporting officer and he will let you know what are your duties and responsibilities. Okay. Then the customer care manager will explain what are the duties and responsibilities and how it is done, etc. And he will hand it over what are resources which are available, maybe data, files, etc. And he will start work. Okay. So there is a chance that after 1 month of time, okay, 1 month he may take some time to come into the organization and to follow all the procedures. But imagine the next month, okay, in general pattern, okay, we'll come to it later, okay. So imagine in the next month, he was asked to send the, or it should, all the customer care executive should send the monthly report, means work progress report to all the customers, okay. But the new employee have not done this, okay. So the customer care HOD may call him and ask, okay, why you haven't done this? Then he may say, explain, sorry sir, I was not aware of it. Nobody told me this. Sometimes the customer care manager might have forgotten to say this particular thing. Sometimes he might have said, the other person might not have heard about it, or he may not have listened to it. Okay, so whatever is the reason, there's a mistake happened. Okay, so we shouldn't have such mistakes. So what you do is, once that the person is brought to the core department, the customer care manager can explain all the duties and responsibilities, and along with that, he can hand over a copy of organization structure and his duties and responsibilities. And even he can record it in a document saying that I have given, he can sign it, and I have received, the employee can sign. So later on, employee cannot state that, sorry, I was not aware, I was not told by anybody. No, nothing, because even if the customer care manager forgot to say that, you might have go through the duties and responsibilities clearly, and you should have understand what are your responsibilities. So again, this is a method where we can reduce the mistakes happening. Okay, fine. About quality policy, quality objectives, then comes the organization structure, then we have done the quality planning, and now accordingly we are giving duties and responsibilities to each individual. And you should always take care that once you make the organization structure, only the post is mentioned. Okay, individual person's name won't be mentioned. It's okay if you mention the name, but the post is given of more importance. You can't only mention the name, post, then the name can be mentioned. It's always better to remove the names, because person may change in post, but the post remains the same. Okay. Okay, now the next thing is work instruction. Work instruction is a step-by-step guidance which allows organizations to implement the processes and procedures. So in quality planning, we have decided what are the quality requirements or standards we want, and also we will be planning how to achieve this. Okay, so accordingly, work instructions, they are also called as work processes, job procedures, work procedures, etc. But everything is the same. So in this, it will clearly mention how each item of work should be done. Okay, even the procedures for a sequential procedure of a department will be also mentioned in. And some organizations, they will also mention the core department's main job items. For example, we are in the construction field. So in construction field, as I said before, the core department is the execution team. So there, other than the general pattern of or working procedure of execution team, they will also include job procedure for, okay, main item of work like concreting, painting, plastering, flooring, etc. Okay, so it can be decided accordingly. Okay, so this is basically work instruction. Okay, let's take an example. So again, let's take customer care department. Okay, so okay, well, okay, other than that, we have already discussed customer care department. We can have a look on project department. Okay, so the main important document, or one among the main important document for the execution team or the project department are the drawings. Okay, so there will be a procedure or instruction given to how these drawings are issued to site. Okay, so generally we will have these drawings done by the architects. So the architects will send the drawings, and you should also remember that when you do the drawings or when you execute the drawings at site, you always want a hard copy, and in that for construction seal also should be done. You should ensure that only then you have to start executing the work. Okay, so they will, the architect who is doing this or the designer who is doing this will do the drawing, and they will send the hard copies to the office. Okay, so there is a chance that okay, this is given under front office, and there is a chance that it is lost. Okay, so for that they may be writing a procedure. There will be an inward outward register. So whatever document is received or whatever document is gone out of the office, it should be clearly mentioned in that, it should be entered in that register, and only then it should be taken inside or taken outside. So the receptionist who is sitting, is there any problem? Okay, so they will do okay, they will enter it in the register, and it will be handed over to the concerned person, for example project coordinator. So once the project coordinator receives the drawing, he will also sign there. Okay, so later on the project coordinator, so that sorry, I didn't get the drawing, you have signed it stating that you have received it. Okay, that is one procedure. Then again you will have a drawing register with the project coordinator. So in that drawing register you should clearly mention the date of the date on which you received, what is the number of copies you have received, and how many blueprints, etc., and then who have received it. That also should be signed. And once you issue this to site or a representative from the site, you should also write the date of issue, number of copies, and the title of the drawing along with the revision number, and then the person who is receiving it also should sign it. Okay, and at the office also you should have a file, separate file for drawings, and one copy of all the drawings received should be filed in it, and the extra copies only should be issued to engineers or contractors. Okay, but this is one instruction, work instruction for issual of drawings. So similarly, all the item of work will be given instructions like this, so that once you work in this order or once you follow all these instructions, finally your output will be of good quality without any kind of mistakes. Okay. Yeah, and this is again an example of a work procedure, that is, it's given in terms of a flowchart. Flowchart for establishment of safe work procedures. Okay, first one, what they have done is break down the task into various steps. Then identify hazards in each step. Then the next one is, okay, can the task be modified to make it safer or easier? If yes, again the breakdown, there is a change in the various steps. Okay, then develop control measures and safety precautions to be taken in each step to execution of the work. Develop control measures and safety precautions to deal with an emergency should it occur during the execution of work. Okay, write standard safe work procedures incorporating the derived control measures and safety precautions. Okay, this is an example. Even you can make it using a flow chart, so that will be more easier. Okay, so like this way you have to prepare the work procedures or work instructions. Okay. Okay, then comes the document control. Okay, so I said whatever you do, document should be done. That means whatever you do, right, should be recorded. Document control is a document management profession whose purpose is to enforce control processes and practices for the creation, review, modification, issuance, distribution, and accessibility of documents. So you should have a clear system stating that how one can prepare a document, who will review or approve the document, then how is the releasing or distribution system, and if there is a change, how to dispose the document, or if there is just, we are not withdrawing the document, we are just changing or we are just revising, how to do that, and how is the storage, access and security, etc. And quality management system is a system that's stating that or whatever you do, just record it. So we will have a lot of documentation, so a clear system should be maintained. Okay, for example, as I said, the work instructions for drawing, issuance of drawing. When there also you have, one is inward outward register, Then comes the drawing register. Okay, so like this way you will have lot of documents. Okay, so for all this we will have a clear system mentioned. Okay, let's take an example. Like each department will have lot of formats as per QMS. Okay, so each department, what they will do is the numbering system. Even for that also they will have a pattern. For example, 1 to 100 will be allocated to marketing department, 100 to 200 for customer care department, 300 to 400 for project department, etc. So once you create a document, it should contain a document number, and that number should be within the number which is given or allotted to you. The next thing, a document should have a header stating the company logo, company name, what is the title, what is the revision number, issue number, etc. Okay, so who is responsible to review this and approve it? Okay, then how to release? For example, okay, we are going to give it as soft copies. We are not going to issue hard copies. And or else we can see we are printing out all the formats and we are distributing this, and we will have a distribution list or a register where once we are issuing it, we will enter it, and the person who is receiving also enter it with the what is the, and each page will be have a serial number so that there is no manipulation happening in this. Then there's something like withdrawal or disposal. Okay, so imagine that we don't want this document. We are going to cancel the entire document because we are planning to have a lot of changes, so that we are going to plan the cancel the complete document. So that is called obsolete document. That means you are deleting the document. So for that you can give an instructions like we should review the document, and the management should be satisfied stating what is the requirement of deletion of this particular document, and then it should be sealed with the seal like obsolete, and obsolete document list should be made, and the document should be filed with this. And when you do the next document or when you issue the next document, there should be a change in the issue number. As I said, every document should have an issue number or revision number, so that there is no duplication or using the previous obsolete document, so such things will not happen. Okay, then again, how to make alteration and changes. For example, if you want a particular department want a change in one of their formats, so they will have a format for alteration or change of document. They can fill this, they can submit to the review system, and they will review, and once it is approved, and they are able to change it. Okay, and when they change, even the document number, everything will be included in this. Okay, then the next thing is storage, access, and security. These documents will act as a proof, so it's very important to store it properly and secure it. Some people, what they do is every day they will back up the data if it's soft copies, and other one they will just file it. They will need files for each particular format, and they will file it clearly. And in document control, you should also make sure that the documents are traceable, because one traceability is basically easiness to get it. Imagine that a person comes and asks, okay, a QC come to the site and asks to the site engineer, come on, show me the test reports of the cube test. Okay, he's taking a file where there is a bundle of papers, test reports, and he don't know which date, what date, etc. And it may take some like 10 or 15 minutes to find out what the QC have asked. So that is a wastage of time. And again, remember, wastage of time is equal to wastage of money. So that shouldn't happen. So for that purpose, when you do the document, clear traceability will be also there. That means you can have a pattern like the document should be filed separately, like each format should have a file, and it should be filed date-wise, etc. So you should have a proper system for this. But this is basically document control, and that is of huge importance. Okay, so we have, as per our layout, we have planned, we did what we planned, and now it's time to check. Okay, and management review. Okay, let's see what is management review. The management review is an activity usually performed as a meeting where representatives of the top management are presented with the data and information regarding the performance of the QMS. The objectives of the review is to give the top management a chance to periodically evaluate QMS. Okay, for example, in site, the person who evaluates the objectives will be either quality assurance engineer or the quality contractor. Okay, and each department head will be asked to evaluate the objectives. Means every month you should check whether he or as each employee has achieved the objectives, etc. And this will be clearly recorded in terms of requirements formats or reports. Okay, and once in a while the management will review this. Are all the objectives achieved? Is everything going as per the QMS, etc.? So such a review meeting is called management review. Okay, and they will clearly cross-check everything, and they will find out. We will check whether is there any deviation from what is planned and what is done. If yes, they will ask what is the reason and why it was done, etc. And they will do the necessary changes. Okay. So next we are going to speak about corrective and preventive action. Yes. So I said we should cross-check whether what is planned is what is achieved. And there may be some situations that there are some kind of deviations from what is planned and what is done. Okay. So if there is a mistake arising or if there is a deviation arising, what you should do is you should find first thing. Okay. First, what you should do is you should do the corrective action. That is, corrective action is an action taken to eliminate the causes of non-conformities or other undesirable situations. Okay. So first thing what you should do is you should do the correction. Okay. That is okay. Let's take an example. For example, at site, a laborer is injured by falling off a tool from height. Okay. So the correction action is to take him report to the concerned officer or something, take him to the hospital, give him the proper medication and all that. Okay. But that is not enough. Okay. What you should do is you should do the root cause analysis. That is, you have to find out what was the reason behind the falling of the tool. Imagine that you have an effective safety system, and even the project manager have to take over or look over all this. But even then this thing, and we have all the safety equipments and everything is, the items are given, but still something has happened. Okay. So you should understand what is the root cause. That is, what is the main reason for this thing to happen, and then you have to take a preventive action. That means this item should never happen again. Okay. Is it okay with the slides?
Yes, ma'am, it's okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, so the reason may be like there was a safety net which was perfectly placed, but the thing was there may be a hole in the safety net, and the tool fall down to the safety net correctly to this hole, and through this hole the tool came down to the laborer and hit his head, and he was injured. Okay, such things can happen. So there also a correction action is required. That is, first you have to either replace the net or you can repair the net. But again, remember, find out the root cause analysis and take a preventive action. A preventive action is an action taken to prevent further reoccurrence of such non-conformities. Okay. So what you can take a preventive action, like you can ask the safety officer to evaluate all the equipments or items used for safety, and then you should make a report. So weekly, the site engineer or the project manager can review it and can ask him to do the necessary repairs or maintenance work or replacements by looking the report. So what happened is, such a hole in a net, such things won't happen, and people won't be injured again, and we can maintain the safety. So always remember, whenever there is a deviation from what is the target given, you should first do the corrective action, and then you should find out what is the root cause behind that, and you should take an action so that this action is not again repeating. Okay, that should be also taken care. So this is how we do the checking and the actions for the differences. Okay, and we are coming to the last part of this, that is continual improvement. Every system or organization or a project, it means managing a project, that requires continual improvement. That is, okay, imagine that, okay, we have achieved high standards and high customer satisfaction from a particular project. Does that mean that, okay, this is fine? No, this should keep on repeating. We should always have a sustainable customer satisfaction and the business should keep growing. So for that particular item, we want continual improvement. A continual improvement process, also often called as continuous improvement process, and is an ongoing effort to improve product, service, and process. So from this diagram also you can see it should keep on increasing. So this is possible by keep on evaluating or keep on checking the system which is established. Check whether is there a need or is there a need for improvement, is there a need for a change or is there a need for improvement. Or if everything is going fine, try to find out what is the next level of this. How can we improve the system? We can bring new techniques. For example, nowadays the new technique adopted in builders is the adoption of green building. That is of great demand between the customers. So they have brought a new technique called green building. So principles and all the activities that will be also included in QMS. So in that manner, you can keep on checking and you can keep on continually improving the system. Okay, that was the final part of quality management system. Thank you. And okay, let me have a conclusion of all what I have said. That is, QMS is a collection of business processes that is focusing on customer satisfaction or enhancement of customer satisfaction. In very simple terms, this is a management with quality. It can be established either for the entire organization or for the core department. That is basically, according to us, this is the execution team or the construction department, or it's also called as projects department. So how it is implemented is that we should have a quality policy. That is, we should identify what is the aim or goal of the entire organization. Then in order to achieve the goal of the entire organization, we are going to give targets, measurable and practical targets called quality objectives to each department. So once each department achieves their targets, the entire organization's aim will be also fulfilled. So for that, first we have to identify what are the requirements or standards for the organization. Then accordingly, and you should also show them in order to achieve this target, how you have to work. So you have to clearly mention that by using developing work procedures, job procedures, processes, etc. Then you can have a clear organization structure where each designation will be shown in that, and it will clearly show the reporting system and who is responsible for whom. You should never challenge the protocol of an organization chart. Then you can clearly, as I said, you can clearly plan how all things to be done. And then what you can do is you can have a quality planning. Then you can assign duties and responsibilities for each designation so that they will clearly know what they should do so that they will finally achieve the objectives. And then what we should do is you should keep on, okay, and again you can give work procedures or work instructions. So how each item is done, so that can be clearly mentioned. And then what you have to do is you have to record whatever you do. You have to have a clear documentation, and also you have to have clear document control. So that is also very important. And then finally you can cross check, is the objective or targets given are achieved, and you should also analyze it, and you should also have a report with, and you can discuss with these reports with the top management so that we will have a continual improvement. So once you have an effective quality management system, we will have high customer satisfaction. We will be able to give high quality products. We can deliver within the time as well as the budget, so that both the customers and the organization people or the stakeholders will be happy, and they will, their market value will be increased. So this is all about quality management. So I hope everything is clear, and if you have doubts, you can ask through the chat, so I will answer.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for the section. You have given a detailed description on total quality management. Thank you, ma'am. We have a question and answer section here. Shall we move on to that?
Yeah, you can, please.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, the first question is,
yeah,
what are the main challenges comes for construction quality managers and how to handle that? Brief it. Question from Sunny Kumar.
Okay. The main challenges that a construction manager is facing is poor quality of workmanship. Because nowadays we have people coming from different states of India, and majority of them are not skilled laborers. So when we are working with unskilled laborers, what happens is that we will have a poor quality workmanship, so that these items should be repeated, so there will be huge amount loss, etc. Then the next thing is about material management. Okay, if you don't have means, as I said, a building quality can be ensured basically by ensuring the quality of material as well as the quality of workmanship. So these two are the main challenges that the engineers are facing. For that, if you have it, you can implement this quality management system in the core department. So even you can have, as I said, like you should only purchase from approved list of contractors. Similarly, you can have an evaluation for contractors. There you can see, do they have skilled labor? Let it be any kind of people, Malayalis, non-Malayalis, or anybody, but are they skilled labor? You can have a market inquiry, means you can ask about how was their previous work, how was the quality of it. Okay, you can ask all these things, and even some organizations have a system like they will have a retention amount. That means 5% of the total bill amount will be retained in every bill. So finally, this retention amount will be only released after something like 1 year or 6 months of the completion. So if there is any means if the workmanship was poor, or we require any rework or etc., what we can do is we can either call this person, he will come because his amount is with us, or else even if he is not answering, what we can do is we can spend this particular amount for doing the repair, and so that we don't have an extra loss in this. Okay. And regarding material, again, you can do implemented systems like you can only purchase from approved list of suppliers. So you can clearly evaluate the supplier on the basis of site visit or their office visit or go down visit. You can understand their financial capabilities, and also you can have a market inquiry with them, so that we can face such challenges. I hope it is clear.
Okay, ma'am. We have one more questions.
Yeah.
Ma'am, please explain that negotiate contracts with external vendors to increase profit management in duties and responsibilities. And
okay.
So, ma'am,
Yeah.
Can you
please repeat the question once more?
Negotiate contract with external vendors to increase profit agreement in duties and responsibilities.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. That is negotiating with external vendors. Yeah. Okay. For example, when we have a project, we are going to start a project. What we do is we will make a project specification. That means what is the standard, and the specifications will be made including what are our requirements or what are our standard requirements. For example, we want a plastering of proportion 1:3:6. Okay, and that too with minimum of 12 mm thickness using 43 grade OPC cement. Okay, so like this way, specification of each item will be given. So what we do is we will give the specifications to different contractors, so that they will give their best values. That means they will give a quotation stating what is their best price to offer us. Okay, so like this way they will be given, and in this specification we will also mention what are our scope of work and what are their scope of work. For example, in plastering, I have also mentioned that shuttering is not provided by the means shuttering should be provided by the contractor. That means the companies don't go into not shuttering. Yeah, the formwork or the supports, scaffoldings, all those will be the scope of the contractor. Okay, so he's given an amount. So it's not like, okay, this is okay, I'm going to finalize it. This project manager, most probably this will be done by the project coordinators, and finally this will be given as a report to the project manager. So he can see what is the offer of each contractor. It is not like, okay, I am going to choose the best among this. No, I will again call the contractors and will negotiate. Oh, you have offered, okay, 35 rupees per square feet for plastering. Oh, but the thing is, the other contractor have offered me 32 rupees, maybe 34. Okay, imagine, you may think, oh, what is this 1 rupees difference? But the quantity is huge. So even the one will result in lakhs of rupees or thousands of rupees. So he will negotiate. No, 35 is too much. He have offered for 32. So I'm sorry, I'm going to give it for the next person. Maybe this may be the best amount we have received. But still then we will call them and we will have a bargain. And only then we will, once we ensure that we get the best amount, only then we are going to leave the work order. Because this is the psychology of each human being. Okay. Even when a contractor give a rate for a work, for example, I am saying I will do the complete work for per square feet, you have to give me 2000 rupees. I will be saying 2000 rupees because I know that they will bargain. Very few people agree with the first initial offer they have given. So you shouldn't do that. You should keep bargaining and you should get the best amount from them, and then you have to issue the work order or the contract agreement. So this will be a financial benefit for the organization. I hope it's clear.
Okay, ma'am. We have one more question.
Yeah.
QMS are mainly for used. QMS are mainly for use in the commercial building that there are not mainly used for residential building, and many construction firms are not using it. Because why?
Okay. Okay, basically construction company. Okay, the construction companies also do residential projects, right? And I think more number of people are into the residential projects. Like we have a lot of builders, they do villas, flats, etc., and all this come under the residential building. And according to me, the majority of the companies have a QMS. But that means from the mid-cap companies, they have the QMS. And the companies in the lower section, that means the beginners or who don't have much revenue, they don't have QMS because this is a system where a little amount of investment is required. I will say as an investment because this amount will be returned in terms of profit later on. But there is an investment, like for example, in order to have a QMS certification, you want a certifying body. And like certifying bodies like Bureau Veritas, there is a cost of something like 60,000 for the certification alone. Then when there is a person coming for an audit, an extra amount is given for his expenses, his accommodation, etc. Then when there is a QMS, there is lot of documentation system. So you have to have an efficient system like either paper or in system, means like softwares or etc. So there is an extra labor or time required for that. So there may be more number of labors or staff required to fulfill this. And you have to print out all the formats, you have to store it properly, and you will have a lot of inspection and testing systems in this. Okay, basically a company with a QMS will surely have a quality assurance engineer or a QC, but they will also ask to do the testing. For example, in a very normal organization, what they do is they will generally do the cube test when doing the concrete, and they are not going to do any kind of test for any of the materials or anything. And if you ask, they will say, once we purchase, they are giving us a test report, and in that it shows that this is of good quality. But in a system or in a company with a QMS, it is requirement or it is mandatory to do the testing of all at least the bulk materials once in 3 or 6 months. That time period you can decide, but it should be clearly done. So testing of these materials is a procedure where you require an extra money. So all this will add to an extra investment when you apply quality management system. But this will be returned in huge amounts during the profit in the long run. So a company where they don't have much fund or revenue to do all these things, they won't adopt for quality management. And that is the reason. And I hope that is clear.
Okay, ma'am. And there is no more question, ma'am. Shall we wind up here?
Yeah, sure. Anyway, it was nice to be a part of your webinar. And thank you once again. Thank you very much for showing your patience and listening it carefully. And I hope it was an informative session. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Firstly, I'm thanking the Parvati ma'am from SMEC Lab for spending her valuable time with us. We had an outstanding section here. Of course, this section was very informative and useful for so many people, including me, and those who are working as site engineers in the field too. Okay, now I am thanking Sajid Bhaskar sir from ICI Calicut Center, who the co-coordinator of this Ender 1 week program, and our chairman Dr. Arun Korot sir, Kala ma'am, and our honorable principal Dr. Sangeeta ma'am, and our beloved HOD Divya ma'am. And also I am conveying heartfelt thanks to all the participants, those who attend this section on behalf of Department of Civil Engineering and Vedagasa Institute of Technology. Thank you.
Okay, so once again, thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.